Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates, coming to you from the Area Command 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. As we've been doing for quite some time now, we're going to go into our national anthem, and I would like everybody to please rise. Thank you very much.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now would you make welcome, straight from Washington, D.C., the United States Army Corps Quartet.
Yeah.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Oh yeah! Come on, folks, let them know it.
America's finest, the United States Army Barbershop Quartet, performing at the Barbershop Quartet Convention in 2015. I want to thank all of our armed forces members here in the United States and abroad. I want to thank our Coast Guard, our Space Force, our Air Force, our Army. I want to thank our Navy and Marine Corps. I want to thank also our allies who help support our country and also help defend their countries. God bless you all. May you all come home after your tours of duty end, and may you come home in safety. God bless you all, and thank you for your service. As I've stated before, every time I've even met an Armed Forces service member, I've shaken their hand and thanked them for their service. I expect everyone here to also do the same in your own locales. I think it's important that these men and women know how thankful and grateful we are to them. During the Vietnam era and before, I don't think a lot of servicemen and women were thanked for their service. I don't think they understood how grateful we are all for what they've done for our countries. God bless them. God bless them. God bless America. God bless all of our countries, that we may still remain free and we still may remain where we are friends and where we can get along and have the Lord's blessings to be with us. Now, I want to go on. Tonight we have a jam-packed program. In just a few minutes, I'm going to bring on we have two special guests that are going to be coming on our program. I'll introduce them in just a couple minutes. I first want to talk about Hurricane Helene. Hurricane Helene is now a Category 1 storm sitting in the lower Gulf of Mexico. I want our local television station, Channel 4 WYFF, to tell us about it.
Yeah, watching that very closely. We've got storms over us now that are going to continue to increase in intensity and become more widespread tonight. You can see the system still sits way down here at the bottom of the Gulf of Mexico, but rain ongoing here at home, and unfortunately this front's going to park itself right over our area, and flooding will be a major concern. We've got tropical storm watches area-wide. Just about anywhere you're watching from right now in the Western Carolinas, tropical storm watches are in place. It's been several years. You have to go back to 2020 with Zeta that moved our way, that gave us that threat for the tropical storm watches. Here's the front right now. It brought tornado warnings a couple of counties over from us today in Georgia. We're watching it closely because our atmosphere is very volatile right now. That's why you see live Super Doppler 4 in the alert mode. When you see that red icon, dangerous weather is happening. And right now we've got some strong storms rolling into the area, lots of lightning and heavy rain. Just the beginning of what's going to be more of this into tonight and through the day tomorrow and into Friday morning. The storm sits way down here at the bottom of the Gulf of Mexico. Winds are sustained at 80 miles per hour. This storm is getting more organized and growing in intensity. Let me show you the brand new track out from the National Hurricane Center, set to increase to a Cat 3, getting close to that Cat 4 strength at landfall in Florida. Then it beelines it for our area. It's a strong tropical storm, just about 10-15 miles per hour away from a hurricane just west of us. That means we're on the worst side of that, where the system is going to be its most potent and most powerful, with widespread rain and very strong winds across the entire area. This is going to pull to the north, but look at all this rain tonight into tomorrow. Coming up, we're going to break down county by county what you can expect for the flood risk and when it all clears out.
Okay, that is the actual latest update we have about this storm. Now I'm going to back it up to put the map back up here because I want to talk about what is going on. Okay, there's the map. Now, I showed you the cone of uncertainty last night. It basically stays in place. However, it goes right up the Appalachian Mountains, right up the Blue Ridge Mountains, into Florida, Georgia, south of North Carolina, and into Virginia. Okay, this is what is going on. Okay, I want to give you the latest weather information from the National Weather Service. Changes to watches and warnings. The tropical storm watch has been upgraded to a tropical storm warning for Abbeville, Anderson, Avery, Buncombe, Burke County Mountains, where I live, Caldwell Mountains, Central Greenville, Cherokee, Cleveland, Eastern McDowell, Eastern Polk, Elbert Franklin, Graham, Greater Burke, that's where I live, Greater Burke, Greater Caldwell, Greater Oconee, Greater Pickens, Greater Rutherford, Greenville Mountains, Greenwood, Habersham, Hart, Haywood, Henderson, Lawrence, Macron, Madison, McDowell Mountains, Mitchell, Northern Jackson, Northern Spartanburg, South Carolina, Oconee Mountains, Picken Mountains, Polk Mountains, Rawboone, Rutherford Mountains just north of us, Southern Greenville, Southern Jacksonville, Southern Spartanburg, Stevens, Swain, Transylvania, Union, South Carolina, Yancey. A tropical storm warning has been issued for Catawba, just north of us in Hickory, North Carolina, and Yancey, North Carolina. A tropical storm warning has been issued for Catawba, Chester, Gaston, Lincoln, Mecklenburg, Charlotte, North Carolina, Union, North Carolina, and York. The current watches and warnings. A tropical storm warning is in effect for all those counties and cities I just got through mentioning. Storm information right now. About 940 miles southwest of Charlotte, North Carolina, and 900 miles southwest of Greenville, Spartan, South Carolina. 22.5 degrees north, 86.6 degrees west. That is the longitude and latitude of the storm. Intensity is 85 miles per hour. That is a Cat 1 storm. As this weather forecaster warned us, by tomorrow evening, this will be a Cat 3 hitting the Big Bend area of Florida again. Okay? Helene is expected to make landfall over the Big Bend area of Florida, Panhandle Thursday evening, and race north into Georgia and the Western Carolinas. Significant flash flooding and mainstream flooding is likely Thursday into Friday, especially along the Blue Ridge Escarpment. The Blue Ridge Escarpment is where we are right now. Wind gusts of 40 to 50 miles per hour will be associated with Helene as the storm tracks west of the county warning area Thursday night into Friday. The combination of saturated soils and strong wind gusts will result in numerous trees being down, leading to numerous power outages. Numerous landslides may occur across the mountains with a couple large damaging debris flows, slope failures, and isolated tornado or two at least. An isolated tornado or two can't be ruled out during the entire event as well, between now and Friday night. Potential impacts: flooding and rain. Protect yourselves now against life-threatening rainfall and flooding having possible devastating effects and impacts across southern South Carolina, Georgia, North Carolina mountains, northeast Georgia, and upstate South Carolina. Potential impacts, evacuations and rescues. Potential evacuations and rescues. Now, folks, this is not unheard of. We've seen this happening already. I've got a picture, and I'm not sure whether I'm going to show it, showing a man filling a sandbag at a Lowe's Home Improvement Center. Extreme rainfall flooding may prompt numerous evacuations and rescues. Rivers and tributaries may overwhelmingly overflow their banks. In many places with deep moving water, small streams, creeks, canals, arroyos, and ditches may become raging rivers, especially in mountain areas. Deadly runoff may rage down valleys, while increasing susceptibility to rock slides and mudslides. Flood control systems and barriers may become stressed. Floodwaters can enter numerous structures within multiple communities, some structures becoming uninhabitable or washed away. Numerous places where floodwaters may cover escape routes. Streets and parking lots become raging rivers, with underpasses submerged. Underpasses like we have all over this highway system within Georgia, South North Carolina, and Virginia. Numerous road and bridge closures with some weakened or washed out. Wind. Let's talk about wind. All of you folks, we've been talking about preparedness actions before. You need to get busy with it right now. Immediately right now. Protect yourself against hazardous wind having possible limited impacts across most of the Western Carolinas and Northeast Georgia. Potential impacts include damaging to porches, damaging winds to porches, awnings, carports, sheds, and unanchored mobile homes. unsecured lightweight objects thrown and blown about. Many tree limbs will be broken off and a few trees snapped or uprooted, which are going to cause power failures. With greater numbers in places where trees are shallow rooted, some fences and roadway signs will be blown over. A few roads will become impassable from debris flows, particularly within urban and heavily wooded places. Hazardous driving conditions on bridges and other elevated roadways. Scattered power and communication outages. Tornadoes. The National Weather Service said we're going to get at least 2 or 3 tornadoes. Protect against a tornado event having possible limited impacts across the western Carolinas and northeast Georgia. Potential impacts include the occurrence of isolated tornadoes that can hinder the execution of emergency plans during these tropical events. A few places may experience tornado damage, along with power and communication disruptions. Locations could realize roofs being peeled off buildings, chimneys toppled, mobile homes being pushed off of foundations or overturned, large tree tops and branches being snapped off with shallow-rooted trees knocked over, moving vehicles blown off the roadways, and small boats pulled for their moorings. Cautionary preparedness actions. We've talked about preparedness actions like I've said before. We need to get busy with this immediately. You may have until tomorrow afternoon to get these things in place, but after that, there is no promise of you being able to get prepared at all. You need to do that immediately. Follow the advice of your local officials. Now is the time to complete all emergency preparations to protect life and property in accordance with your emergency plan. How many times have we talked to everybody here about having an emergency preparedness plan? We need to do it. Everybody needs to get off their duff. Everyone needs to get off their duff and get busy with this. This is absolutely important at this point in time, especially. Now is the time to complete all emergency preparations to protect life and property with accordance with your emergency plans. Ensure you are in a safe location before the onset of these strong winds and possible flooding. It is important to remain calm, informed, and focused during an emergency. Be patient and helpful with those you encounter. Rapidly rising floodwaters are going to be deadly. If you are in a flood-prone area, consider moving to higher ground immediately. Never drive through a flooded roadway. How many times have I said that? How many times have I said that? Never drive through a flooded roadway. Remember, turn around, don't drown. Turn around, don't drown. If a tornado warning is issued in your area, be ready to shelter down quickly. Shelter in place, preferably away from windows, and find an interior room that does not have windows, possibly even a hallway. Okay? Preferably away from windows and an interior room not prone to flooding. If driving, scan the roadside for quick shelter options. Closely monitor weather.gov, NOAA, National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration weather radios, or local news outlets. Now I'm going to say this again. How many times I've told you all to have an emergency radio, an AM/FM weather radio minimum, an AM/FM weather radio minimum. Now I'm going to show you my weather radio here. I've shown you this before, many times before. This is an AM/FM weather radio. Over on the side here, it has that knob at the bottom that turns the radio on. It also has an emergency flashlight capability. Up on top of it, we also have a solar panel to keep it charged. We also have backup batteries in the back of this. Backup batteries in the back, and we also have a hand crank on this other side of it. A hand crank for power on this other side. The AM/FM weather radio is a very good idea. Now, this is a National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration weather system. This is available to all of us. However, when there is an emergency like this, or whenever there's a national or emergency in your area, your local authorities can take over the weather service broadcast to give you important localized information for your immediate area. That's why we stressed always to have an AM/FM weather radio. When you don't have a weather radio to monitor conditions, immediately turn your radio or your television station to a news talk station, meaning a station that has news, weather, and sports, so you'll have immediate information. If you tune your televisions to HGTV or to a music channel or some other channel like that, you're not going to get emergency information for your area. Tune your televisions and your radios to a news talk station. That way you'll get emergency information as it comes up from your local area. Be advised, it's absolutely vital. This is absolutely vital. Closely monitor weather.gov, NOAA weather radio, or local news outlets for official storm information. Be ready to adapt to possible changes to the forecast. Ensure you have multiple ways to receive weather warnings. I can receive weather warnings on my cell phone. I can have weather warnings on our weather radio here and our police radio here. We have a police scanner right here that's also tuned to override the police frequencies and give us the weather radio frequency at the drop of a hat. For more information on creating an emergency plan, see gameplan.org. Getagameplan.org. Getagameplan.org. One word. GETAGAME plan.org. For additional disaster and preparedness information, you need to see me here on Emergency Management Associates or redcross.org. We've talked about emergency plans here on this program before. All you have to do is find one of our emergency programs that we put here. All it has here in the topic description of this program is emergency and preparations. Whenever you see the word preparedness, you're going to know that there's emergency information on that program. Watch it. It's vital for you and your family. Okay? The next update is going to be issued by the National Weather Service approximately 11 a.m. tomorrow morning or sooner if conditions warrant. We will give you more information if we get it here in the Emergency Management Associates office. Okay? I've been talking with emergency officials literally all day long. Please pay attention. Don Patoka just put up the frequency in his area, 162.0500 or thereabouts. Our frequency here is 162.4500. 162.4500 here locally in my area. This may differ a little bit, as Don Patoka says here in the chat. Please watch what you're doing. Please watch what you're doing. This is absolutely vital for your safety. This is vital for your safety, guys. I'm not kidding about this. I'm not kidding at all. Please watch for more warnings and emergency notes from me here on EMA, here on YouTube. You can also get to our emergency groups on Facebook Messenger. You can also email me information and I will get back with you. Okay? You need to be well aware of what's going on with everything going on around you. Please do that. Please do this. This is essential for your safety and for the safety and the life of your family. Now, there are closures. There are closures going on. Now, there are national park closures here in North Carolina. Weather forecasts suggest preparing for high volumes of rain and strong winds at higher elevations due to expected impacts from Hurricane Helene. National Park Service officials are closely monitoring the projected path of Hurricane Helene, a predecessor rainfall event ahead of Helene, and preparing for a range of potential impacts across the North Carolina Blue Ridge Parkway area. Based on expected periods of heavy rainfall, flooding and strong winds, and projected course of the storm over the next several days, closures will start the afternoon today, Wednesday afternoon, September 25th, in the following locations: milepost 314 to 375.6 from the north of Linville Falls or to Ox Creek. Milepost 393 to 455 from North Carolina 191 French Broad Overlook to Soco Gap. These severe weather closures are full closures to all public use. Closures are expected to remain in place until the storm passes after Friday, and staff can safely access the park and clear any storm damage. The National Park will issue updates when they are available. As a result, the following facility impacts are also planned: Linville Falls Campground at milepost 316.4 and Pisgah Campground at milepost 408.8. They're going to be closed as of tomorrow morning, September 26, 2024. Reservation holders will be notified. The Pisgah Inn will remain accessible via both Highway 151 and Highway 276, providing two egress routes to opposite directions for visitors. Linville Falls Visitors Camp and Visitors Center at milepost 316, Craggy Gardens Visitor Center at milepost 364, and Water Rock Knob Visitor Center at milepost 451.2 will be closed. Where conditions permit and the road remains open, park visitors are reminded to use extreme caution and be aware of the potential for falling rock and downed trees. Park visitors must use caution. You must adhere to posted speed limits and keep your speed low. Keep your speed low. If a roadway gives out before you get there, don't drive down into the gully that happens as a result of the roadway being undermined by water. Keep your speeds low so you can stop before something like that happens. Be prepared to stop or turn around at closed gates or where you find road debris before and during the storm event. Updates and information regarding the status of park facilities, including the road itself, will be available on Parkway's website and its X, Instagram, and Facebook pages. Park visitors and neighbors are encouraged to check these sites regularly for information before heading out to the Parkway. Please be safe out there. Again, the closure advisory milepost 314 to 375.6 north of Linville Falls to Ox Creek. Milepost 393 to 455 North Carolina 191 French Broad Overlook to Soco Gap. Based on expected periods of heavy rainfall, flooding, and strong wind, and the projected course of the storm over the next several days, closures are going to start tomorrow morning, September 25th, 2024. This is the latest information we have. I want to thank Renee Steffi for bringing this information to my perusal. I spoke with the National Park Service earlier this morning at about 9 a.m. I didn't sleep too well. Okay? I did not sleep too well at all last night. I had some personal body issues I had to take care of, and I didn't sleep too well. I've tried to get some sleep, but I've also tried to monitor the storm for all of you. Don Patoga is asking, are you ready to rumble? I have to ask that myself. Are all of you ready to rumble? This is going to be a very bad storm. As I have spoken to you before, okay, I'm going to speak to you again, over and over and over. I don't think we're getting our message out any too soon. People are not paying attention. People are not paying attention. Every Friday we talk about emergency preparedness in some way. You need to be prepared. Scott Carico is saying prayers for Florida. I'm saying prayers for Florida and everywhere up and down the Florida Panhandle, up and down the peninsula, and all the way north to Virginia. Now, you might think that it's not going to be very bad. Okay? The news service said that we're going to have 35 mile per hour winds starting tomorrow. Okay? But the outer bands of the hurricane can reach anywhere from 20 to 150 miles out. Those outer bands of the hurricane are going to sprout thunderstorms and tornadoes. The outer bands of the hurricane are going to sprout out tornadoes and thunderstorms. You need to be advised about it. Last night and the night before, we've had some heavy rains here, and we've had some thunderstorms. My wife commented at one point that the lightning that we had lit up the entire area as if it was daylight. It was not daylight. It was nighttime. Guys, this is going on now. We are not having any lightning right now, but we have threatening black clouds, thunderheads, and cirrocumulus clouds right now. We have some light rain. That rain is going to turn into heavy rain. It's going to turn into heavy rain. Hurricane Heather on our weather chat. Our messenger weather chat will have updates to this storm. She puts out the most information I've ever seen, and I'm very thankful for her. She's on the channel chat right now. She's putting out information also as she sees it. Be aware of that. Watch for what is going on. All of our mods here are putting out good information that will bless everyone's lives. Please pay attention for that as well. Before we go any further, I want everybody to know this fact. Okay? Right up front. YouTube keeps unsubscribing people. YouTube keeps unsubscribing people. Please check your subscriptions to this channel. Make sure you're still subscribed to Emergency Management Associates on YouTube. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. click that red button for subscription. Right next to it, you'll see a little bell icon. Click on that little bell icon. A drop-down menu of 3 items will appear. Click on the word ALL, all. That should get you notified when we do come on the air. However, YouTube does not always notify everybody. They're only notifying people that are new channel creators. They're actually unsubscribing people from this channel, and they're suppressing this information. We have emergency information on this channel. Please, folks, share it wide. Share it wide with your family, your extended family, your friends, your neighbors, your social media contacts, and even the people you work with. This is essential for you and everybody else to try to save lives here. That's what we're trying to do. Now, I have some other things we need to discuss with you before I introduce our guests here for our program tonight. There have been many security failures. The United States Secret Service has many security failures, and they continue happening. At the rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, there were security failures such as the lead agent. The lead Secret Service agent knew that there was a credible threat, and he did not act. He knew there was a credible threat, and he did not act. There is a video out where Crooks was seen walking across the roof of the AGR building, and no one did anything about it. There were people on the ground that saw Crooks laying and moving around on top of the roof, getting ready to take shots at the president, and the Secret Service did not do anything. When local police tried to take action, Crooks threatened to kill them. And the police officer that had been boosted up to the top of the roof to see Crooks, he fell down off the roof after Crooks threatened to kill him. He injured his ankle. Other things that happened, and I've told this to you before. The Secret Service failed to take a police radio from the locals to use to monitor the police frequency and what was going on the ground from the local police were there to assist the Secret Service. That was one. The Secret Service also were offered drone capabilities from the local police and sheriff. The Secret Service turned down the drones as well. Biden and Harris cut President Trump's Secret Service agents down to very minimum. The Biden administration with the Harris administration turned the Secret Service contingent down for President Trump. It's unreal. And it continues. A week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, there was another threat on the president with a gunman. Fortunately, a bystander caught the license plate number, took a picture of it, and the picture of the car that he hopped into, but he left his backpacks containing these ceramic pads or packs that would protect that gunman from the Secret Service shooting at him. He also had a GoPro fixed on the fence to record the assassination of President Trump. He didn't get off a shot because the Secret Service shot at him. He jumped in a vehicle and took off and was captured 40 miles away. Thank you to the civilian in the area that was fortunate enough to get a picture of him and his vehicle before he took off. The police and sheriff caught him. He's in jail right now. Federal officials have 2 charges against him. However, that's not all. The locals have more charges as well as the state of Florida. 2 charges would probably not hold Ruth in jail. 2 federal charges would probably not hold Ruth in jail. but the corresponding charges of the locals will. Governor DeSantis has already said that he will do whatever it takes, and his law enforcement contingents will do whatever it takes to keep Ruth in jail and make sure he gets prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Now, it's not over. Of course, it's not over at all. Now, do you think this is enough? It's not. It's not over by a long shot, as I typically say. Trump is in danger. Trump is very much in danger. This is this is a clip from the Benny Johnson show. I want to show this to you because it's important. This is very much important to all of you and the president. Okay? I want to show this to you. This will only last maybe a couple minutes here.
Freeing us to go live once again. Now, we will tell you that, again, we are in the path of a hurricane that is inbound to Florida. This thing's apparently going to be a monster of a storm. We've gotten a lot of alerts for the recent storm here from Hillsborough County, so evacuation zones. These are a bunch of text messages for evacuation zones. We're going to be safe, obviously. We're going to sort of see what things look like tomorrow as it pertains to broadcasting, just programming notes. This is where we are right now, but we are running off Starlink, baby, and we're letting her rip. Okay. The scene here in Mint Hill, North Carolina. This is from President Trump's campaign. We are awaiting President Trump speaking in Mint Hill, North Carolina, the first time we've seen President Trump since the shocking and truly stunning news this morning that the Secret Service let an assassin try and execute an on-air assassination of President Trump. There's no other way to interpret this. The only way to interpret it is the Secret Service allowed it to happen. Did they want it to happen? I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not a mind reader, nor am I somebody who's going to look through somebody's soul and soothsayer. You know, I'm not going to use crystals trying to divine what their intentions were. The result of the failures was that Trump ate a bullet and was intended to be in a live on-air execution. And we now have the reports. Now, we're going to go live to President Trump soon as he starts talking to see if he comments on this. But here's what President Trump has been saying as of late. Check this out. President Trump campaign. President Trump was briefed earlier today on the Office of Director of National Intelligence regarding the real and specific threats from Iran to assassinate him, to destabilize and sow chaos in the United States. So Donald Trump is getting briefings on multiple foreign teams that are out to kill him. So S just hit the fan and got super real. So there are multiple teams that we have been reporting on. We've had Matt Gaetz and Andy Biggs on this program saying that, yes, they've got intel that there are teams hunting Trump and trying to kill President Trump. Pakistan, Ukraine, and Iran were some of the nation states that were given to us on this program saying that this is a very real threat, and now President Trump has finally been briefed. They knew about this before the Butler assassination attempt did brief Trump. They knew about it before Ryan Ruth stood 300 yards away from Donald Trump in the bushes ready to kill him, just like Iran put out in a propaganda video, shooting Trump from the bushes at his golf course. They didn't brief Trump on it. And now, finally, they're briefing Trump on these threats. Yet, lo and behold, this morning, there's people, they say, can't teach an old dog new tricks, tiger can't change its stripes. Democrats called for the death of President Trump. Once again, Biden official calling for the death of President Trump once again. Her name's Gina Raimondo. She's a high-ranking Biden cabinet member, and she says, effectively, that we need to extinguish Trump once and for all. This clip from this morning.
The opposite. It's just another lie. Like, how did we get here? Let's extinguish him for good. We have an answer.
Let's extinguish Trump for good.
Let's extinguish Trump for good. This is a Biden official. This is a Biden staff official that says, let's exterminate Trump. Is this the way our country is supposed to act? With a staff member from the president's office telling everyone, we must extinguish this president. We must extinguish President Trump. They don't want him. They don't want him. They've been trying to get rid of him since 2015, when he first campaigned as president. They tried to extinguish him then. It didn't work. They went after him while he was president twice. Once in the Congress, he was indicted by Congress, but there was not enough evidence to terminate President Trump's office. They tried to do it again in the Senate. It didn't work because there was not enough evidence to do it. And now another time, the Biden official is calling for the assassination of President Trump. We said that this is a conspiracy. I completely believe this was a conspiracy to kill the president. It's ongoing. Twice now. We've had incidents where two people tried to kill President Trump. One shot him in the ear. The other one, the Secret Service stopped him. And now, after that second time, Biden has finally allowed the Secret Service to adequately protect President Trump. The people that were at the first Butler, Pennsylvania fairgrounds where he was shot, the people that were there supposedly with the Secret Service contingent, they were not all Secret Service because the Secret Service did not, or they weren't allowed to have the number of officers there to adequately protect him. We've reported on that. They brought in FBI agents. They brought in Homeland Security investigators. They gave the FBI and the Homeland Security investigators 2 hours of virtual training on the internet. 2 hours of virtual video training on the internet. That is not anywhere near enough to help protect a protectee of the United States. Whether it be President Trump, J.D. Vance, even Biden, or even Harris and her entourage. It's not adequately enough at all. Now, supposedly, Biden has allowed the Secret Service to adequately protect Trump. I believe it when I see it. Now, President Trump has said he's going back to Butler, Pennsylvania, the first weekend of October. He's going back to Butler, Pennsylvania again. I hope and pray that all of you also pray that President Trump is protected. I believe within the next 35 days, some other nut job is going to try to take him out again. God bless President Trump and his family, and J.D. Vance and his family, and all the others that are out there as well. Even Harris has had a threat against her life as well. That came out earlier this morning. It's unreal what is happening. Never in our history have we had presidential candidates threatened like we are now. That's because the communists don't want President Trump in power. They know that President Trump will stop them. They know President Trump will stop them. There's one other thing I want to talk about before we bring on our guests here tonight. I talked about this last night. There was a police chief in Ohio. That police chief in Ohio talked about the migrants taking over Springfield and other areas of Ohio and Missouri. Okay? It's ongoing. It's not going to stop. But you're going to hear from a 2-minute clip I have from Blaze Media, Glenn Beck's program, where this police chief exposes the migrant crisis in Springfield, Ohio.
You've got a city that's in absolute turmoil. Everybody's against everybody.
Chad Duncan is the police chief of Tremont City, Ohio, which is just outside of Springfield. He described a general atmosphere of lawlessness in Springfield, which he says is spreading to the surrounding area.
People that shouldn't be driving are out there, and they're allowing them to drive.
Chief Duncan described one of his recent traffic stops involving a Haitian migrant.
He didn't even have a license, coming through town at 44 mile an hour in a 25 mile an hour zone. That's the second time in 2 weeks
And you towed his car?
Oh yeah, towed it for the second time.
And Springfield wouldn't have?
No.
He suggested that one reason Springfield authorities might be going soft on reckless driving is to protect the Haitians' immigration status.
If you get 2 misdemeanors, you are subject to be deported.
Since Springfield became a media sensation,
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in, they're eating the cats.
Chief Duncan says his access to Springfield's police radio frequencies was cut off.
What exactly was going on with that?
Well, there was, we were able to hear them on the radio. They have decided to go silent. We don't know what's going on in the city. That happened the day they brought the state troopers in to help them out.
Why would you think they would make things hard to communicate?
Nobody can hear what you say, and they don't know what you're doing, so they'll have to answer to it. There was a threat at the school today. I couldn't hear it. I just caught wind of it from another guy, from another chief that's something right next to the city.
Right.
If they would have taken the time, instead of worrying about the elites lining their pockets, and just took the time, this could have went so much smoother and been so much more beneficial to everybody involved. But instead,
And so because that didn't happen, how do you think this ends?
I really don't know what the end result will be, but right now it's not good.
Okay? As it says right here, see the full interviews on youtube.com/@BlazeTV. You can see the full report. President Trump was correct in saying, and I know what the media is saying, that what President Trump has said is not true. It is. Yes, the migrants have been pet napping our pets and barbecuing them. It has happened. But it goes far beyond that. President Trump was right and Harris was lying. Harris was lying. As some of you know, there have been plenty of people that have fact-checked the debate with President Trump and Harris. She lied, she lied, she lied. She laughed. She thought it was funny. She thought it was funny. There is nothing funny about what is going on. It's disgusting. Miss Constitutional Rights said here in the chat, it's just disgusting, and she's right. It's unreal. The Democrat Communist Party here in America will lie, cheat, and steal to get their party's message across and get themselves elected. Then if they get elected this election cycle, they will destroy this country. I'm warning you. If they get elected this election cycle, they will destroy this country. I'm promising you that. You think this is just a political talk? It's not. This is an emergency. We're facing an emergency right now. If you don't believe me, just wait. And by then it's going to be too late. We need to take action in our own communities. We have to take action in our own communities. We need to do it now. Canadian Patriot 1 is here in the chat saying the closer we get to the election, the more attempts the left will try, unfortunately, in his opinion. It's in my opinion as well. And the opinion of Trump staffers and the opinion of other people around this country. They're going to do whatever it takes to silence Trump. I'm hoping it doesn't happen. I'm hoping it doesn't happen. Dave, if you and Barry are available, I would love to bring you in right now. Our special guests tonight are going to be Dave Delisle from near Quebec, Canada, and Barry Prince from over in southwestern British Columbia, Canada, Terrace, Canada. Dave, are you ready? I've asked to bring them in on Facebook Messenger so we can get their message in here. It's important. Okay? That's why I asked them to come into our chat tonight. It's very important. Okay? Barry and Dave Delisle have a lot of things to talk about, and they will help me bring this message to you. Dave, are you ready? I think Dave is. I'm just ready for them to come up on the air. Don Patoga's here in the chat saying it's not good enough to just be right. You also need to be effective, and that's exactly what we're talking about. This is an emergency situation. We must do whatever we can to solve this emergency and take the bull by the horns. If we don't do it, we're screwed. If we don't do it, we are screwed completely. Now, my brother said, and President Trump said he's not going to do it because Harris has asked for another debate. It would be foolish to have another debate. Harris wants CNN to air the debate. CNN is a communist news network. CNN would do exactly what the ABC News Network did, only protect Harris. ABC News during the last debate protected Harris. They did not fact-check Harris, they fact-checked President Trump, and ABC News, quite frankly, didn't fact-check him, they lied about him. They completely lied about him. President Trump said there will be no more debate. But my brother said if there is another debate, a lie detector should be attached and a crowd to add a laugh track. A crowd to add a laugh track to the debate. Because every time Harris opens her mouth, she says something stupid. Harris is illiterate. She's not able to even articulate her message, which is no message. All she has is the word salad. She can't even complete a sentence, let alone she can't answer questions from the news media. She can only put out the information that she wants to put out from a memorized script or from a script from a teleprompter in front of her. Harris is worthless. Harris was supposed to be in charge of the border. She didn't even do that. She's never visited the border, although in a news interview, she said she visited the border, and the news people, NBC News person that was interviewing her said, no, you did not visit the border. He said it twice. She never admitted that she lied. He caught her in a lie. This Constitution right said Harris has no message at all. I agree. Don Patoga says preconditioning predictive programming. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. My dear friend Demon Catman from east of England. Preconditioned predictive. Absolutely. Absolutely. Reticle hyena. Heretical hyena. Don says predictive or conditions predictive programming. Richard Smith says a bunch of actors that can't even act properly. LOL. True. Also, Canadian Patriot One is here in the chat here that says apparently her mother's lawn is wonderful. Yeah. Her mother's lawn is wonderful because she has illegal aliens mowing their lawn. Her parents were not even citizens of this country when Kamala Harris was born, which makes her completely unable to be president of the United States. Yet she's in the position right now as the vice president. If anything ever happens to Biden, Harris will be brought in as the incumbent president. That should not be allowed to happen. Okay? That should never be allowed to happen. Dave, are you and Barry coming on the air with me? Because if you're not, I'll be more than happy just to have Dave here on the air with me. Yet Scott Caricos here in the chat says Kamala Harris was an anchor baby. That's all it is. That's all she ever was an anchor baby. Her parents had a baby so they could become citizens of this country. Her father was a Marxist communist. And that's where Kamala Harris got her upbringing, from a Marxist communist. Her mother was not any more than that, being from India as well. Unreal. Don Patoka says, hello, calling Dave and Barry. Come in, Dave and Barry. Earth calling Dave and Barry. Come in, Dave and Barry. We'd love to hear from you. It's interesting that I'm very much a conservative person. I have to vote Republican because the North Carolina and Utah parties that rule the election forces say you have to be Republican or Democrat to vote. So I have had to register Republican, although I'm a conservative. I'm more conservative than anybody. Here I'm conservative as well. Yes, I am going to vote for Trump. But I am very much conservative in all other policies. Why? Because I'm for traditional life. I am very much a traditionalist. I'm very much for traditional life. No, I don't like these abrasive changes that are happening. Hey, Dave. Just a second, Dave.
Yeah.
There we are. I think we got you.
Yeah. So, I think so. I think you've got us. Just don't squeeze too hard, please.
Don't squeeze the Charmin.
I'm not going to squeeze this Charmin, I promise you that. Oh, you guys are funny. How are you?
Good. How's Ron?
We're doing good.
How's Ron?
Yeah, we're doing good.
Over here.
What's that?
I'm doing okay so far.
Oh, good.
Every day above ground is a good day.
Yeah, I agree. As long as they're not throwing dirt on top of us, we're having a good day.
Any day you wake up and you can see sunlight, it's a good day.
I agree. I posted pictures of Dave, which is on the left side of the screen. I posted a picture of Barry here. In the center of the screen, you have my mug here as well. Barry has a program that's very important, okay? He's over on, what's it called?
Revolution Radio.
Revolution Radio, yeah. There it goes, Revolution Radio. It's called The Big Puzzle with Barry Prince. This past weekend, this past Sunday, Barry was on the air with Roger Landry. Many of you know Roger Landry or have heard of him or you've heard from him. Roger Landry, Barry, I can't even believe everything that Roger Landry said because he was spot on. Everything he said was spot on. It was awesome.
Yes. Yeah, well, usually Roger brings nothing but good information to the table. That's why I do shows with him every 2 weeks. I have him on a semi-monthly basis now. So And I've been doing the shows with Roger for about 10 years now.
It's awesome. It really is.
We tried to bring you in, Ron. We tried to bring you in the first hour because Jurgen didn't show up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And we were, I winged it. I rang Dave, and he was good enough to join me on the spur of the moment. He's actually bailed me out twice. Jurgen he lost sleep at night because he forgot about my show. He literally forgot about it. And he doesn't do that because he always likes to get on with me. So I got up to him on Monday, and he apologized, and he apologized, and then he apologized some more. I said, Jurgen, it's okay. I got Dave in. He covered for you. We did a good show, and we had a good conversation.
That's great.
So,
Yeah, Jurgen's a good guy too. He really is, and he's very knowledgeable about what's going on and what has gone on in the past with our government. And yeah, I talked to him about a month ago for maybe an hour and a half on the phone.
Wow.
And I mean, he and I, well, we're like-minded people, and it's always good to talk to Jurgen.
Yeah. I would love to have both of them on my show. I would love to bring them on the show in a heartbeat, because they're spot on.
well, let's call him right now.
Bring them on. Bring it on.
Yeah, you can. Jurgen's a great guy.
I can't call him because I can't call out, but
Oh, darn it.
I can get him in sometime, no problem.
That'd be great. I love that. I would honestly love that. That'd be awesome.
He's definitely a fiery guy.
Yeah.
The stuff that's going on, I mean, well, who isn't anymore? All the people are, everybody that listens in to your show even, we're all like-minded people. We don't like what's going on in the country. We're seeing, realistically, it's terrorism that the Democratic side is pushing.
Yeah.
They're calling, death threats for Trump, and nobody's doing anything about it. Politicians calling, for him to be taken out. I mean, come on now. It's a crime.
It is. And yet, what happened?
Did it, we'd be in jail in a minute.
Yeah. One of Biden's associates, one of his staff members, asked to have him assassinated, to terminate him today. Today. And it's allowed. It's being allowed. Why? Why is this being allowed? It should never be allowed.
Because the deep state can't afford to have Trump in there to destroy everything they've built. And that's the bottom line. They want the one world governance. And Trump is a fly in the ointment.
Yeah. A huge fly in their ointment. That's why they want him dead. If I had threatened President Trump, if I had threatened Harris or Biden or Waltz for that matter, I'd be in jail right now.
Yeah.
Why is Biden's person, Gina Rondo, why is she still breathing air from the outside of a prison? Why?
Yeah. Well, her, Maxine Waters,
Yeah.
Schiff, Pelosi, a bunch of them have threatened Trump, and nothing happens to them.
Pelosi threatened Trump last week.
Go figure.
Well, the corruption runs very deep in America. Every aspect of the government. Whether you talk about the CIA, you talk about the Department of Justice, they're all compromised. They're all agents for the wrong guys. And boy, I'll tell you, you've got your hands full. If Trump can get elected and he can get inaugurated without getting shot, then the hammer will come down. But I'm scared to death of him being shot. They have to get him out of there, there. They know they have to get him out of there. He cannot be allowed to be elected president again. It's going to be a landslide victory. There's going to be so many votes for Trump that they won't be able to steal it. Even if they want to steal it, they won't be able to.
Yeah.
Polls are doing that now. They know that. They know it. They're scared to death of Trump, man. Because he's gonna rain on their parade, and he's gonna bring the hammer down. He said what he's gonna do, and boy, I listened to him talk. He makes total perfect sense to me, and I'm just praying that he is elected president again. They don't steal it, and he gets to be inaugurated, because the first day back in office, boy, the hammer's gonna come down.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys this. Does anybody really, truly trust the Secret Service
No.
to protect them?
No.
I don't. Nobody.
No, I don't.
There isn't a single, name me a government department, a government agency in the States that you can trust. Name me one. Because I can't come up with an answer to that question. Yeah, I can't.
Fair.
It's insane. I'm hoping he's going to be elected. I'm hoping he's going to be elected and inaugurated.
Yeah, me too. But I can't see it happening.
My fear is that somebody's going to kill him.
Yeah, well, they're even calling for civil war. The left is calling for a civil war. Like, what is going on here?
Oh, they can have a civil war.
Yeah.
I'll come out shooting.
If Kamala Harris steals the next election, you're going to see a civil war in the States.
Yeah.
Because the Republican side isn't going to take it. They're not going to take Kamala Harris as the president of the United States of America. Are
No.
you kidding me? She is a piece of shit. Excuse me.
The problem, Barry.
She's a piece of dust.
Yeah, the problem with that is the fact that the Patriots want peace. They're not going to start anything. They will defend themselves, and when that giant's been awakened, look out.
Oh yeah. Look out big time.
But we will not start wars with anybody, civil or any other.
No.
And to me, that's why the left is trying so hard to get Israel and Iran going, to get Russia going, to get China going, and North Korea, so that there's always a war.
Yeah.
And they can stop the election if there's a war. Because then they bring in the War Measures Act. And that's what they're looking for. I truly believe that.
I agree. That's exactly what they want. They want to stop us. And the only way they're going to do it is to bring that act into play or kill another president.
Yeah.
Typically, a president of the United States has been inaugurated on one side of the Capitol building. And it's a public event. Tens of thousands of people come there every 4 years, to watch the inauguration of the President of the United States. But
Look at what they're doing, even with what are they doing with the Supreme Court? They're threatening them.
yeah,
They used to protect these guys. Not so much anymore.
no. They have no intention. They have no intention of even protecting President Trump, let alone the Supreme Court. No way. No way. They don't want to. I believe they don't want to. They have no intention to.
Yes. Well, there's chaos over here, too, with what's going on with our Prime Minister. They tried a no confidence vote today, and of course, the NDP and the Bloc Québécois, they blocked it. They stopped it.
Oh.
But Sam had something to lose if there's an election, because he has to go to February before he gets his $2 million pension.
Wow.
Anything prior to that, he doesn't get it. And he's greedy. He's a corrupt as they come.
He is so bad. I don't have the words to describe. I've been saying I do not have the words. He's a Khalistani terrorist. He is a known
associate of Khalistani terrorists. He's got his commitments to the Khalistanis. He's not allowed to go back to India. If he goes to India, he will be arrested. He's not allowed to go into the United States of America because of his Khalistani connections. Yet he's running the NDP party in Canada, which of course was the Communist Party of Canada prior to 1968 or 69 when they changed their name to the NDP. Because the Communist Party of Canada wasn't getting too much support, but now we've got the new Democratic Party of Canada, which is the Communist Party. And they're showing their communism to the T, man. They're so socialist, so far left.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Jagmeet Singh came onto national TV and he said it about 30 times. We ripped up our supply and blah, blah, blah agreement with the Trudeau government. We are not going to side with them anymore. We're going to advocate independently in the House of Commons, whatever we see fit for the Canadian people, we will support. It was all smoke and mirrors. It was all a crock of crap. He's lying to his teeth, gaslighting Canadians. Canadians actually thought he was for real. He was going to actually guide away from the Liberals. But of course today in the now confident vote, they all sided with the Liberals again, with the party, with the bloc. And it's such bullshit. It's such bullshit. Excuse me. It's such bullcrap. It really is. What's going on here right now? It's unbelievable. It is. And we're 13 months away from an election. The damage this government's going to do, the damage that Trudeau is going to do between now and then, they're going to push Bill 236 through, man. And I'm telling you, Ron, I don't know if you've heard about Bill 236. It is the most barbaric piece of legislation that ever been put in front of a G7 country. It is so bad that it basically is going to give the government the power to put me in jail for life for my stock. You won't be alone. I don't have to do anything. I can just sit here and be myself, but they can come and arrest me for my thoughts.
Yeah. Here in the United States.
Do you believe this crap, man?
Yeah, I do. Because here in the United States, Kamala Harris and Waltz the other day said that we don't have freedom of speech. Bullcrap. I call bullcrap all over it. If Waltz and Harris get into power, especially if something happens to Harris and Waltz is president, our freedom of speech, our freedom of religion, our freedoms, period, are gone.
Yeah.
These communists are taking over. And there is a bill before Congress right now that people like me, people like my friends that have podcasts here on YouTube, people like Dan Bongino over in Rumble, other people all around this country will be silenced. All of us will be silenced. And if we don't comply, they will arrest us. If we don't comply, they will arrest us. The handwriting's on the wall.
And what's it gonna take for the common, normal person in Canada walking around with their head in the clouds to realize that we're in deep, deep trouble? They're so easily gaslit by this government. It's unbelievable what the government actually says and what's actually going on. Even in the States, it's the same. Well, it's the same thing in the States. It's the same thing in all G7 countries. They're all playing out the same agenda. It's all the same agenda, but with lipstick. One's wearing lipstick, one's not wearing lipstick, one's slightly different variations of the end game as it's portrayed to the human race. But they're all playing the same game. They're all taking us to the same end game. And boy, I'll tell you, it is not a good place for anybody to go. But we're going there fast. So we've got to wake people up. It's more important right now that you get into your faces of your friends and your neighbors and speak to them out of love. It's because it is love that we're speaking with people. I mean, it's because we love people that we talk to people and we try to get this message across. Sometimes I feel like I'm banging my head against the wall. I feel like I'm spinning my wheels, but it doesn't stop me from trying every day.
I agree.
So, that's the thing, Barry.
You know, we're banging our heads against the wall, but the reality is, I at least have peace in the fact that I know that God placed me and you and Ron and the others like us in this position because he knew we wouldn't back down. Well, there is no backing down.
No.
There is no backing down. There's no going back. There's no shutting up. I can't shut up.
No.
Knowing what I know, I can't shut up.
I'm not going
I have
to.
let people know. Well, they're going to come and silence me real quick here. I believe that. If they push this Bill C-263 through, and the Senate's controlled by the Liberals, the Senate, all the senators have been appointed by Trudeau. It's unbelievable the stranglehold that he's got on this country. All aspects of our government is under their control. And it's going to take a real push by the Canadians in the next election to get him out, because he's going to bring through legislation that's allowing all these illegal immigrants to coming into the country to vote. They're going to allow foreign exchange students. There's all kinds of legislation brewing right now that is absolutely damning as far as freedoms go in this country.
Right.
And they're going to mention it all in the next 6 months, man. You watch. There's going to be some legislation come forward that's going to make people really start to scratch their head. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's unreal. It's not stopping. It is not stopping. It's not stopping now. It's not going to ever stop. It's not ever going to stop. We're at our wits' end right now. We are literally at our wits' end. We cannot stop. What we're doing must continue. Hold on a second. I think we just lost the call. Guys, are you there? Hold on, folks. Just a minute. I'm going to get the call back from Heck or High Water here. Guys, are you there? Every time I'm trying to add this, come back here, hold on a second, I'm going to bring him in here. Just a second, guys. I'm going to bring you back in here. I don't know what happened here. This is the weirdest thing I've seen. Just a second, I'm going to try to bring you guys back here. I hope I'm going to get it here. I'm hoping we get it here. Just a second. I'm hoping we get it back here. Dadgummit all. Darn it. Darn it, darn it, darn it. Okay. Are we there, guys?
Hey, we're back.
Hey, we're back. Yay. I don't know. I have no clue what happened. But we're back.
I don't know what happened.
Jeez. Just got
They don't like us, I guess.
Unfortunately.
They don't like us.
I don't really care what they like or not. I just don't care anymore. That's where I'm at. They've not proven to me that they're worth it. They just haven't. No way. No way. Anyway, Barry, go on with what you were saying.
There he is. There's Barry.
Oh. Where did we go?
I have no idea.
We're right.
Yeah, we were lost in the crowd.
Lost in space, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I
They don't
live.
like the truth. I don't know.
That's where I
They
live.
said something they didn't like. We obviously hit a note. We hit a nerve somewhere.
Yeah.
Somebody listening in at one of the fusion centers. They've got eight major fusion centers set up in the United States of America. And believe it or not, the computer systems they have in these fusion centers are more powerful than anything we know about.
Yeah.
Supercomputers now.
Yeah.
I was watching. Who was I watching that was talking about this? So, oh shit. I can't remember some big name, some really renowned person was talking about the fact that they have these supercomputers. They have a computer system that can take every computer system in the United States and amalgamate it into one entity.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable, the strength of the computers, and we don't know about them. They're not letting us know. We're allowed to know a little bit about what the technology is going forward is doing, but we're not allowed to know what's in it. If we did, we'd be scared to death. We'd be scared to death.
Yeah.
We'd be scared shitless of what's coming. Because what's coming,
yeah.
what's coming is a total lockdown, a jailhouse scenario for society. If we don't put a stop to this, that's what's coming.
That's why they're getting rid of critical thinking.
They're going to get rid of critical thinking. They're going to attack us. Anybody that's speaking against them is going to disappear. I'm expecting a knock on the door here any day, to be quite honest.
Well, they're doing it to us now. So, I mean, really, by attacking the internet and everything else. So, they know who we are.
Yeah.
And the reality to me, again, is I don't care what they know.
They've got a list of everybody in Canada that's against the government.
Yeah.
Believe me, everybody that speaks against the government, is participated, has supported rallies, blah, 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 is on a list.
Yeah.
The list is long.
Juby Joe asked a question. I want to answer this. She asked, "What is a fusion center?" Fusion spelled F-U-S-I-O-N-S. Fusion center.
Right. It's an information gathering center.
Yeah.
Where they amalgamate they basically tap into every computer system on the planet. They have the mechanism to do that. And
algorithms.
They monitor algorithms. They monitor what we're saying, what we're doing. They put it into categories as people. We're being categorized, absolutely. If you like speaking against the government, you are definitely
on a list of people that they're going to come and round up at the next junction, because that's coming.
Yeah.
At least we'll all
get
get
to your
together.
point.
It's
Well,
a
we will
government.
I hope they put me in the same building as you, man. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
Wouldn't
To hang out before they kill us,
it? Yeah.
Yeah.
because they're going to kill us.
Well, they even have bots. There's bots out on the internet that the government controls
Yeah.
and goes after the people and whatever. And that's why we get cut off of the internet. I mean, I got Starlink, for crying out loud. That's one of my internets, and my other one's a cable internet. So I have two internets. And they, whatever, phone lines. But they've attacked both of them.
Yeah.
And the reality is that all I've been doing is telling the truth.
Yeah.
I share things that I think people need to look at. They can make their own decisions on the information I send them. That's up to them. I'm not going to make decisions for people. It's just the way it is.
Yeah. The federal
And if
government.
we don't get the information out, nobody's going to know.
Yeah. The federal government operates these fusion centers. It's their shared commitment between the state and the federal government to integrate information between the government and the state and local governments who own and operate these fusion centers, to integrate information from national and local database sources to prevent and respond to all threats and hazards. Barry is very much on the air talking about these kinds of things all the time. As you might imagine, he has his own radio show on Sunday afternoon evenings, and I'm here. I have friends as well that do this same thing. Benny Johnson is also doing this, as well as many others, but you can darn well better believe they know who we are. They know who we are. They've had
Gary from People for People.
Yeah.
Even Gary from People for People.
Right.
Roger Landry. These guys offered me airtime, but I can't commit to a solid time all the time because of the medical appointments.
Yeah.
You know, I wish I could, but I'll do as much as I possibly can.
Yeah, me too. Me too. But guys, this goes on and on. Barry and Dave and I and many others are not the only ones that do this. We're not the only ones that stand up for what we believe in. Okay? Unreal. Richard Smith here in the chat says quantum computers are probably already in use. I know they are.
Yeah.
I know they are.
They are.
Elon Musk has said as much.
More people. There's more and more people all of a sudden standing up and having their voices heard. I've seen all kinds of new faces in the so-called freedom movement in Canada. In the last 12 months, I've seen 3 or 4 new major players coming out of the woodworks and having their voices heard. It's important that we all speak up. We can't be silent about what we see going on around us. You know, the old verbiage that silence is consent is so true. If we're silent about what we see, we know it's wrong. We know that they're doing bad to us, yet we're silent about it. Well, you might as well join the other side, because you're doing as much damage to society, and stopping the movement that we're trying to institute here. You're doing more damage than anything by your silence. You have to speak up. You have to speak out and have your voices heard. If 1 million voices speak up, well, that's a lot of voices, and they can't ignore that many voices. But we need everybody to get up off their butts, go to the window, raise the window up, and yell at the top of their voice, "We're not going to take this shit anymore," because we're not.
That's the truth.
It needs to happen.
And what are they doing to the alternative media?
Yeah.
They're trying to shut all the alternative media down, and that's realistically what we are.
Oh yeah,
we are the alternative media, or a part of it. We're not big like Joe Rogan and all the others, but still.
If we rebel media, they're trying to keep rebel down. they've got a fight on their hands right now to stay on the air in Canada. Yeah. That's how bad it is. Rebel Media now has 1.3 or 1.4 million subscribers. Their subscribership has gone up about 300,000 or 400,000 in the last 6 months.
Yeah.
The amount of people tuning in to listen to Rebel, and the government is trying everything in their power to shut down Rebel Media in Canada.
Yeah.
And the more, if they succeed in that, Dave, that's the only voice speaking against the government in this country right now.
It's one of the only. It's one of the only. True North is another one. Yeah.
True North, yeah, but of the outreach, I'm talking about the outreach of Rebel Media.
Yeah.
How many people they actually reach. True North, yeah, sure, they're speaking against it, but their viewership is a fraction of what Rebel Media it's got for listeners right now. And True North is great. I love True North. What's that name? Faulkner.
Yeah, Harrison Faulkner.
Harrison Faulkner. He is. Anybody that hasn't listened to True North or hasn't tuned in and listened to True North, you've got to tune in to Harrison Faulkner's show.
Yeah.
And listen to the guy talk, because he is really a smart cookie.
Yeah, he is.
And he's a young kid.
He's about probably 25.
Probably in that neighborhood,
25,
I would think.
27, something like that.
Yeah, he's one of the, as far as I'm concerned, he's one of the best hosts of any shows in Canada right now.
Yeah.
He really nails it on the head when he gets on and talks about stuff. And he's not scared to get into the mouth of the demons.
Nope. And that's what we're doing. And the reality is, for me anyway, I don't care what reprisals they have or whatever, because it's not going to stop me.
No.
They have to kill me to shut me up. It's that simple. Because I will not change my values and my views and my morals because they want me to. That's just not going to happen.
No. Not now, not ever.
Well, you're not alone, Dave. We all feel the same.
And then Hillary, remember that name, Hillary Clinton? Hillary and Bill,
Hillary, yeah.
That have been responsible for killing more Americans than any other president in history. Hillary said the other day, it's not going to stop. They're going to assassinate Trump. She's just one more person that has said that. She said, we're going to assassinate Trump, and we're going to shut down the alternative media. They're going to shut it down.
That's why they want Trump in jail.
Yeah.
Who said that? Did Hillary Clinton actually state that?
Yes, she did. I heard her. I saw it.
They were going to assassinate Trump.
Yep.
She actually came out and said that on open mic, that they were going to assassinate Trump.
Yep.
I'd love to see that clip. Can you send me that clip?
I will try to find it and send it to you. When I saw it earlier,
send me that, Ron.
I think it was Monday. I think it might have been Monday, but if not, it was this past weekend. I'll try to find that and send it to you, because I couldn't believe my ears.
I heard it too.
Wow. Hillary's one of the most dangerous people here in the U.S. or around the world.
She is. And why she is in jail is beyond me, man.
I may have sent that to you, Barry.
Well, she is so corrupt. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Everything about that woman is corruption.
Yeah. Well, do you think Epstein did himself in? I mean, really?
Yeah.
I don't think Epstein's dead.
He's alive and well on some island offshore.
I think he's living on some island in the Caribbean, well protected, out of sight, out of mind, just living his life out in the comfort of his $1 million house or $100 million house with his 13 and 14-year-old girls.
Yeah. Give me 5 minutes in a room with him. We'll see what happens.
Well, yeah, I know. Give me 5 minutes with any of these pedophiles. I'd love to, but we have to have that awfully big room, Dave, because it seems like in society they're rampant. They're in every aspect of our civilization. It seems to be run by pedophiles.
Yeah.
So why is that? Why do they get so much control of government, undermining our society, undermining our values, undermining everything that is good to be a human being? They undermine, and they get away with it. Why Why is it that people can't see the changes being implemented in our society? Why? Because they do them slowly. Little piece here, a little piece there, a little piece here. All of a sudden, you got a lot of pieces, and those pieces make a big piece, and all of a sudden, society has changed.
Yeah.
And we turn around and look behind us and go, well, what the hell happened? What's going on? Why is this change? Well, they're the masters of deception. And
Look at Trudeau.
They think in 15, 20-year periods, man, not in 6 months or year periods. They think.
Look at Trudeau when he was a high school teacher, which is he did. He's got an MDA.
Yeah.
There's an MDA. I mean, really, he paid the kid off, or the family, or somebody off.
Yeah.
That's why he only did partial time in the high school as a teacher.
Yeah.
But that stuff won't come out.
Then he had to pay that girl $2.5 million to shut her up. The
Yeah.
girl that was 13 or 14 years old that he was banging.
Yeah.
Well, he was a professor at what university was it again? I can't remember, but he was. I mean, the guy is such a corrupt individual. He's so evil. Boy, the thing that bothers me about him the most is how he treats the homosexual society. I almost said the word faggot, but
don't say that.
Well, it's true.
I can't say that. Excuse me.
No.
Excuse me. I didn't say that.
Harris has
But
done
anyway.
the same thing. And I saw a report from the Blaze Network this morning showing these idiots, these LGBTQ trans people, men dressed up as women, parading around, dancing on a stage in front of toddlers. Toddlers, guys. And I said, if I ever see that myself, somebody's going to be dead and it's not going to be me.
Well, look at the things, though, that are going on. I mean, they want to change the wording from pedophiles to minor attracted people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's ridiculous. Because it doesn't sound harsh.
Yeah.
Just another sexual disorder in people. Nothing wrong with it. They want to make it acceptable in society. But then the people that pushing this agenda are the pedophiles themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are writing the laws. And they're bringing in, oh man, what's going on in our schools?
It's all being done on the left.
Yeah. And we're supposed to just accept it. And if we don't, then they climb all over our backs. Parents have been thrown out of schools. Parents have been thrown out of schools sticking up for their children. Heaven forbid, our children are allowed to have a good education and not be interfered with by the left wing of our country. And I'm calling the school education system left wing, because that's exactly what they are. They have their own union, the education union, the educators union. Here in the United States, they do nothing but try to pollute our children's minds. It's no surprise. It is absolutely no surprise to me that our children are being yanked out of schools by their parents, and they're being either homeschooled, or the parents have gotten together with other parents who are teachers, and they're being privately educated because the parents are up in arms about what our left-wing educators are doing.
Yep.
And they just think it's okay. They think it's okay. There was a parent the other day, I think it was about a week and a half ago, there was a parent the other day that approached the city council who had the superintendent of schools there, and that woman and her husband protested those people. And what did the city council and the superintendent of education do there? And it was in Ohio. They had the woman and her husband arrested. They had the woman and her husband arrested because they did not agree with what the city council and the Board of Education was doing with their schools in their town. They can't. They have control.
The best way to resolve that is pull your kids out of school If there's no kids, then there's no teaching.
Yeah.
That stuff is not being taught to the kids. It's that simple. Homeschool, or get a bunch of people together, get a bunch of kids, and find somebody who's qualified to be a teacher that has the right mindset, and let them teach your kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's all kinds of homeschools that started up in Terrace in the last 2 or 3 years. I know of 3 or 4 homeschools that have started, and it's a cooperative between the parents where they're bringing in 8 to 9 children into a residence and raising them properly, going by the old books of education, none of the new crap, none of the SOGI 1, 2, 3, none of that is taught to the children. It's all wholesome information, and that will build a good citizen.
Yeah.
Based on Christian values.
Christian values. What's going on right now with our children in the school system is just a travesty. It really is a travesty that we're allowing our children to be sexualized by these perverts that want to use them. It is. I mean, there's a couple books in the libraries in Canada here. I got copies of them and took a look at them, and I could not believe what was being depicted. What was being depicted to 8 and 9 and 10-year-old children. Oral sex, just unbelievable that this is being portrayed to children.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
To normalize it. And that's not normal.
No,
that's not normal.
And yet these same individuals,
a child before they even reach puberty, they have no interest in that, but it's being jarred into them. It's being indoctrinated into them. Little Johnny can be little Susie if he wants to be. All you have to do is say it. We'll make it happen for you, little Johnny. Oh, I want to be Susie.
And if your parents don't agree with this stuff, let us know, and the government will take your kids, because they'll take care of them. Because you're not, as a parent, you're responsible if they do something wrong. But if you're speaking out, well, you're the bad guy, and you can't have your kids. Yeah, I don't think so.
If you want in Canada, we'll cut your penis off for you there, little Johnny. And we'll make you a girl, no problem. Well, that's insanity. It really is insanity that they'll perform sex change operations on children under 16 years of age in Canada.
And to destroy their lives.
Unbelievable. Well, you know that 50% of children that have gone ahead and had their bodies transformed, penises dropped, cut off, had a vagina made, blah, blah, blah. 50% of those children that become adults will commit suicide within 10 years of the sex change operation. 50%.
Yeah.
But they won't let those numbers get out either.
They don't let those numbers out, but those are facts.
And
so you think about it, you go, wow, they portray this as the thing to do, but 50% of the people that do it are committing suicide? Well, that can't be too good, can it? Go ahead.
Yeah. Newsom in California, Newsom, the governor of California, signed a law about, I think it was 2 weeks ago, that said that if parents do not agree with what's going on in their schools, the state of California can seize the children away from the parents, and the parents will have no rights over their children. The state of California, if the child, a 5-year-old child, a 10-year-old child, wants a sex change operation and the parents say no, the state of California will come along and say, yes, you can get that, and they will seize the child away from the parents, and if the parents don't agree, the parents will be arrested. That's the state of California.
But the system is totally backwards from the way it should be.
Yeah.
It's totally backwards from the way it was when we were kids. And unfortunately, the ones that are paying for it are the kids.
Yeah.
And unless the parents stand up, regardless of the consequences, as I said, and protect and defend their kids and what's right, I mean, it's over. The game is over.
Yeah. It really is.
As I said, I will never comply nor consent with that. I'll tell you, I'll give you a little thing right now. My one son, as an adult, he's had to change. The surgery and everything. I tell him regularly, I don't agree with him for what he's done. I won't treat him any different than I did. He's a boy as far as I'm concerned. He understands that. He's not woke. But he says it's his decision, and as an adult, it is his decision, and I'm okay with that. But I will not accept, I would not accept it as a child.
No.
Him doing it as a child.
No way. No way.
Well, my son did the same thing, Dave, and I must be a redneck because I don't want anything to do with him ever again in my lifetime. So I must be a redneck, but I absolutely detest what he did. Turn himself into a woman, and it just rubs me the wrong way. So call me redneck, maybe I am, but I don't want anything to do with him again as long as I live, period. I told him if he ever has an emergency and he needs an emergency help or something like that happens, you can call me, but outside of that we have nothing to share, nothing that I want to discuss with him anymore.
I don't discuss this stuff. Other than he knows my stance, and that's where
my son knows his.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
But anyways,
I haven't had anything to do with my kids because of their mother. Their mother, actually her parents, my ex's parents, gave my ex money, and the only way that my kids can keep that money until she dies is if they don't see me or talk to me or have anything to do with me. If they have something to do with me, then my kids will have that money taken away from them.
Yeah, it sounds like my ex.
Yeah. I don't know how much money it is, but it's a money issue. So I haven't had anything to do with my kids for 20 years. Since about 2003 or 2004. That was it. Nothing. Not at all. I've never personally seen any of my own grandchildren. I have at least 7 grandchildren that I've never seen. I've seen pictures because my sweet wife Carol has gone on social media and have found pictures of my grandchildren. I can't do that because my kids have me blocked on social media. But they don't know that my wife has gotten the pictures for me. So I know my grandchildren do exist. I'm a good guy. You folks that have been in my chat during the past couple weeks have seen my wife's son. I call him my son. Okay?
Yeah.
You've seen him here on the chat. He comes here in the chat, he watches the program. Sometimes he's not on the program the entire time we're here. But he comes here and lets me know he's here. Okay? Paul Colo. Every one of my wife's kids, our kids, I call them our kids, my kids, because they respect me. They love me. They know who I am. But my own children are not allowed to know their father because of the radical mother.
Yeah.
She put this into a will or some form of legal document?
Yeah, there's some legal document. My ex is an attorney. She was a paralegal, and now I understand that in California, if you've been a paralegal for a period of time, you can automatically be grandfathered in as an attorney, and now she's a sitting attorney. Yes, she has gotten that legal document together, and my kids cannot have anything to do with me, or that money can be taken away from them.
Yeah, see, that's unfortunate. My ex, all she did, I mean, my youngest son I haven't seen in probably 25 years, but that's because she turned him against me.
Yeah.
Telling I was the bad guy in that.
That blows me away, Ron.
Yeah, it does me too.
She could actually do that to you.
Yeah.
Where you can take away your rights to your children.
Yeah.
For money.
She's taken away my rights. She's badmouthed me. The marital settlement agreement, the divorce agreement says that neither spouse can talk negatively about the other spouse, but my ex has done it. And the judge is all right with it. I brought it before a judge, and the judge says, "Shut up, Mr. Tyler, or I'll hold you in contempt."
Yeah, that's what they do. Happened to me too. I proved my point, and he didn't want to hear it, the judge. And I actually stood up in court and called the judge a sexist pig for a comment she made. She didn't like that.
No.
But I told her, it's the truth.
I was a cop, and several times I had to go to family court with my ex, and I was on duty. I had to turn in my gear, my gun and all my law enforcement gear that was on my waist. I had to turn it into the local sheriff there at the courthouse before I went into the family court. And I did that. I did it religiously so I could go into court and try to defend myself. However, one time I walked into court, and again I didn't have anything on my sides. But the judge told the bailiff of the court to haul me out of the trial room and take me out and frisk me and warn me to make sure I didn't have any weapons. She told the bailiff. I had already relinquished any of my law enforcement gear to a sheriff's deputy outside the courtroom. And yet I was humiliated one more time by a bailiff that frisked me and not just patted me down, but wanted me to make sure I didn't have anything on my person. And for those of you that know police, you know that we wear heavy-duty shoes or boots. And I wore a boot because I have a weak ankle. And in that sole of the boot is a steel shank to make sure the boot can withstand the rigors of law enforcement, to keep us on our feet. My boots had steel shanks in the boot. I had to take my boot off and have it examined by the bailiff because it had a steel shank in the boot. I did not have access to that shank. It was built into the sole of the boot.
Yeah.
I had to take my boots off and allow the bailiff to examine my boots, and the bailiff was a sheriff's deputy. The bailiff understood what those shanks were. But I had to take my boot off to make sure that I didn't have any weapons. That's unreal.
Yeah.
That is the left. That's the left.
For me, when I went into court, people thought I was a lawyer because I was so well dressed with suits.
I tried doing that too.
Go figure.
I tried doing that too. And again, I was hauled out of the court. They took my jacket off my person. They checked the tie clasp that I had on my tie and made sure it didn't have a steel shank or something that could cut somebody. Took my tie clasp off. It was a law enforcement tie clasp that had two handcuffs on the tie clasp. They took that off to make sure it couldn't be used as a weapon. They frisked me and wanted me. I was in a suit and tie then. Unreal.
Go figure, eh?
Yeah. Stupid people.
It's unbelievable the amount of stuff that we have to go through. But yet, the more we battle, the stronger we become.
Yeah.
And realistically, I mean, we find ourselves doing an awful lot of research to get around the nonsense that's being thrown at us.
Yeah. That's unreal.
Especially legal research.
Yeah. Yeah. I was challenged.
Anyways, gentlemen, I have to go out. I was supposed to be out of here about 45 minutes ago. And I forgot that I was supposed to be out of here, so I have to leave.
Well, I'm going to let you guys go then. I appreciate you guys coming on the program today. I appreciate you guys. You guys are my buddies, my best friends, and I love and appreciate you very much. Barry, anytime you want me on the program, I will make sure. I don't know why Dave couldn't get a hold of me, but I will make sure I'm available to come on your program.
Okay, fair enough. Appreciate that, Ron.
No problem. Dave, thank you
tried,
also
Ron.
for being on
We
the
tried.
program.
Nice talking to you today, Ron.
You bet. You too, brothers.
And to your audience.
You're always welcome on
And-
this channel. We can do it every Wednesday if you want. That would be great.
Sure, I'm good with that.
Yeah,
Yeah, we can do
let's
that.
start doing it on every Wednesday. That'd be great.
Yeah, there
Okay,
you
well,
go.
I'm out of here, guys. Talk to you later. Thanks for letting me join you, and have a great day.
You too.
You too.
Thank you so much,
Take
Dave
care,
and
brother.
Barry. God bless you. See you soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Guys, that was Barry Prince and Dave Delisle. Barry Prince is from Terrace, Canada, over in British Columbia, Canada. Dave is over in the area near Quebec. They are both great guys. They're very dear friends of mine. I appreciate them very much. Anyway, does anybody have any questions for me? I'm very happy to take any questions about anything we talked about. As I was about to say before they said they had to leave the air, I was going to tell you this. I was confronted this past week that I did not know what I was talking about. But again, I told the person that confronted me that I was very, very well versed in the law. I had to be. In order to be a police officer, you have to be versed in the law. To know what you can and what you can't do, what you can and can't say. I'm very well versed in the law. I'm versed in court procedure. That is one of the reasons that I was so upset by the judge that was responsible for my divorce decree and what happened to my children. I've also been disgusted with what is happening with President Trump. Someone confronted me that I had no clue what President Trump was doing in the New York courtroom, and that he is indeed guilty of the 36 felony charges against him. I told that person, and I've told everybody since, that person didn't know what they were talking about. Judge Juan Merchan of the New York court didn't know what he was talking about either. Trump's attorneys are trying to hold him responsible for what he did. In the selection of the jury and the final outcome of the trial, during jury instructions, Judge Juan Merchan said that the jury did not have to come up with a complete unanimous verdict in order to go after Trump. All they had to do is get a few people, and that's all they had to do. That whole trial should be thrown out of court. What Judge Merchan did was illegal. Completely illegal. He should not have been allowed to do that. Yet that's what happened. Many other things during that trial and after were against the law. Judge Juan Merchan should be put in jail. And not just that. Judge Juan Merchan has openly said he's Democrat. He and his family have appropriated money for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. His daughter is in charge of fundraising for the Democrat Party. And yet when President Trump brought that up, or his attorneys brought that up to the court, Judge Juan Merchan said, you can't say anything about that. You can't say anything about my daughter at all. They stopped him. Because Juan Merchan knew that what had been done was a false flag. They were just trying to go after Trump.
Magnitude 4.3, 12 minutes ago.
They were trying to go after Trump, which is against the law. Period. It should not have been allowed to happen. Now, does anybody have any questions for me? Demon Catman just put up our email address. You can send me email information anytime, and I appreciate that. Miss Constitution Rights said her daughter's hacked her Facebook and she has pictures to prove it. You don't have to prove it, I believe it. I believe it. Also, our postal address. As I said the other day, my wife and I went into the postal complex and re-upped our commitment to the postal post box for another 6 months. It's cost me over $100 for 6 months. Folks, we need you to help support us with that post box. All I am asking is cards and letters from you guys. Carol and I have not had one card or letter in 4 weeks now. We appreciate your support of our program. We do. Many of you don't know this, but you can insert checks or money inside a card or a letter. Just make sure if you send a letter that the money or the check is wrapped up inside that letter. Carol and I would love to hear from you about your family, about your emergency preparedness as well. Several of you have sent pictures to us. Behind me on my wall, I have pictures that some of you have sent me. Okay? My dear friend Laura Marie from Oregon has sent me pictures of her husband and her family, and those are on my wall. She sent me pictures of her horses. They're also on the wall behind me and on the wall next to my desk here. I love those things. Over my shoulder here is an EMA sign that Sandy in San Francisco made for me. Taking seashells to put a border on it. Cut up license plates to make sure that the EMA was on that plaque she made for me. That's also there. I have many other things on the wall here that have been done for me. Right here. See this plaque right here? It's a picture of me drawn by a friend of mine. At the time I did no longer wear glasses because I had eye surgery, and so my eyes were changed and I didn't wear glasses anymore, but I had been. But that friend of mine drew that picture of me. Okay? I appreciate that. Over my other shoulder right here. See this EMA sign? Someone painted that for me, and it hangs on my wall proudly. Proudly. I love and appreciate you folks. I really do. It makes my day. I've told you I have 2 boxes of cards and letters that you guys have sent me over the years. 5.5 years I've been on the air. I have kept every card and letter that you guys have ever sent me. 1 box is in my closet completely full to overflowing. 1 box is on the floor right next to me. After I read your cards, and Carol and I read your cards and letters, it goes in those boxes. Because I love it. Carol and I go through those letters and cards all the time. We love you. We really do. If you like to support us, you can use our mailbox that my mods have put on here. Please use that. Carol and I would love to hear from you. Rob52 also put up our PayPal address. We appreciate that as well. You can send donations to our PayPal. That way, YouTube does not take your donations away from me. YouTube takes up to 40 to 60% of my money that you guys have worked hard for and to give me donations to keep this program on the air. You can send donations to our PayPal location. Send it as friends and family. That way, nothing's dinged from PayPal. Okay? We appreciate that. Also, folks, tonight, here on our program, please give us a thumbs up if you like this program and what we've talked about. Give us a thumbs up if you liked Dave and Barry being on our program as well. Thumbs up, and also the time you spend on this channel talking with us in chat and also watching this program is monitored by YouTube. It's all part of an analytics game that YouTube uses to decide whether they're going to let anybody on YouTube see this program. As I said before, they are suppressing this program. They're suppressing this program. I've gone from a month ago when we were seeing 2,000 to 3,000 people watching our program every night, and now we're seeing probably no more than 300 people here tonight. They don't like me, and I really don't care. I know who you are. I know that you support this program. We appreciate it. Now, YouTube doesn't like it. I don't care. I just don't. Right now, YouTube says there's 47 people watching now. It's interesting because just a month ago, we had over 100 people watching our program at the end of it. Now 47, 49 people watching now. That's sad. That's sad. I have to go to the interior parts of my YouTube program. It shows we have 526 people that have seen this program tonight. But on the outside, I will bet you that YouTube is only going to show us 300 people. They always do. Folks, support this program. Watch this program. Stay for as long as you possibly can and watch our program. If you stay, you're going to get maximum information from us. At the beginning of this program, we talked about Hurricane Helene. It is now a Category 1 storm in the southern part of the Gulf of Mexico. It is expected to run up through the Gulf of Mexico and hit the Big Bend area of Florida near the Panhandle by tomorrow night as a Category 3 hurricane, possibly even a Category 4. They said it could be at the higher reaches of a Category 3, almost a Category 4 hurricane. It's already affecting our weather here. It's been raining here most of the evening. I haven't had any lightning or even thunder here in about 6 hours. We're grateful for that. Because when that happens, I shut off all of our electronics here, including the computers, to save the computers. I love you folks. I care for you very deeply. You are indeed my family. You are indeed my family. Diane Kelly says, hers says 106. That's great. That's awesome. I appreciate you guys so much. You guys mean the world to me. Now, folks, if you don't have any more questions, what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut this program down tonight and put it up on social media so other people can see this program. But I love you. I care about you. I really do. Now it's saying there are 51 people watching this program and 105 thumbs up. I greatly appreciate that so much. Folks, I love you. God loves you. Now, I usually close this program with a scripture. I've been errant in pulling up a scripture prior to the program. Let me come in here. I just opened up the scriptures. Usually the scriptures automatically open up to a scripture that I can share with you. And it pretty much has. I opened it up and then moved a couple pages here, and all of a sudden I'm in Romans chapter 10. Romans chapter 10 says a lot here. Okay? I told you about Romans 10 before. I'm going to start with verse 10 and go through, I believe, verse 16. With the heart man believeth unto righteousness, and with the mouth confession is made unto salvation. Where the scripture saith, whosoever believeth on him shall not be ashamed. There is no difference between the Jew and the Greek, for the same Lord over all is rich unto all that call upon him. For whoso shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. How then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed? And how shall they believe in him of whom they have not heard? And how shall they hear without a preacher? Guess what? I'm not a preacher, but I'm a teacher. I've been teaching the scriptures, I've been teaching the Word of God for a very long time. Now I'm going to go over to Romans 1:16. Romans 1:16 very much has to do with what we just saw in Romans 10. Okay? This is one of my favorite scriptures, and folks, Romans 1:16 very much means the world to me. Romans 1:16 says, "For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it is the power of God unto salvation, to every one that believeth, to the Jew first and also to the Greek." The gospel of Jesus Christ is for everyone. Everyone. May we remember these scriptures. Open up your scriptures and you're going to find eternal life. Open up your scriptures and find out who God is. Open up your scripture and you can find out what God expects of you. And you can make a covenant with God. You can make a covenant with God and he will make a covenant with you to bless your lives. We talked about preparedness earlier today. I hope and pray for all those people in Florida, on the west coast and the east coast of Florida. Even though this hurricane is on the west coast, the entire peninsula of Florida is going to be affected. As we've already seen, the storm has also reached out with the outer bands of this storm, and we're seeing the storm affect people as far north as Virginia. Batten down the hatches, guys. Batten down the hatches. This is only the beginning of this hurricane. May God bless you. May God bless you and keep you. Keep you safe from the storm and everything else that our nation and our world is going to do to us. What happens here in the United States also affects everybody worldwide. God be with you. God be with you until we meet again. I love you. May God protect you always. God bless you. Have a good night, everybody. Be safe. We will be back on the air tomorrow with a special members-only video, and then we will be back tomorrow night with our normal programming. Okay? If anything else happens between now and then, we will be back on the air to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available. Have a good night, everybody. Much love. We'll see you on the other side. Good night.